on blast.
Next topic, Webby. Who will win MVP?
LeBron James.
Woo, LeBron James.
I think I said this last year, too.
We both picked, that's funny you mentioned that, because I was trying to think back, and yes, I think we both picked LeBron James last year, and I don't think we were that far
No,
off.
he finished second in voting, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go with LeBron again this year because I think that the LA Lakers are going to increase their win total by enough and be maybe not a super high seed, but as Russell Westbrook showed us a couple years ago, you don't necessarily need to be a number one seed to be an MVP. And I think that the other guys who are kind of in contention, when you look at Giannis or Antetokounmpo or Harden for sure, but I think Harden might be splitting votes with, maybe even Chris Paul if they're that good. But if the Lakers are a 50-win team, I think that LeBron will win another MVP.
It's super interesting, too, because you mentioned Harden, and I think there might be a reluctance to give it to James Harden 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's just a thing that happens, right? Like, I feel like he'd have to dominate so much again for people to give him the MVP 2 years in a row because people are always searching for storylines. And I think you're right in the sense that LeBron would give a storyline. LeBron in LA, that's definitely a storyline. And it's funny, if you go back and listen to last year's podcast when we were picking why LeBron would be MVP, we did say one of the main reasons would be because LeBron is going to go out banging because it might be his last year in Cleveland. And here we are, 1 year later.
And you know what? He's
going
to come out banging because it's his first year in LA. And if he wants to win over those Kobe stands like we've been talking about, he's got to come out and show out. And it's LeBron James. I'm pretty confident that he can do that.
Were you surprised by how they were going hard at each other last night? That game against the Warriors,
I didn't see it.
Lakers Warriors. It was highly contested. Like LeBron played 18 minutes or something like that, and it had 15 and 10 or something. Like he was going hard, and one layups and flexing the muscles, hitting he hit one half court three and stood there, struck a pose. Lance is beside him, getting being his hype man.
Listen,
there's so much going on. I'm like, whoa, okay. They're ready.
I did see the was it LeBron who threw the who did
alley-oop to Lonzo?
No, the long snap to Rondo.
Yes.
Yeah. That was weird to see, considering all the history that Garnett and Rondo had against LeBron. Seeing him do that with Rondo, that was pretty weird. That was pretty weird.
You're also correct in the sense that there'll be a lot of stats out there for the Lakers because I feel like the Lakers are just going to try to run people out of the gym because they won't be able to play defense. And they got these super athletes where you're looking at the five being played by either JaVale McGee or LeBron or Kuzma.
Yeah.
Right? So if that's your team.
And this team looks built to run, too.
Exactly. As you mentioned LeBron, I wanted to mention this headline that I saw just because of how crazy it was. But the headline says, at one point, LeBron James considered signing with the Raptors last summer.
Jesus.
Did you see this?
No.
I was surprised this didn't even get much pub, but Joe Varden of The Athletic was on Yahoo Sports Podcast, and he said, I think at one point Toronto was kind of a dark horse there. I think there was some sniffing around on both ends.
Oh, that would have been crazy.
Right? That's so crazy, crazy, crazy. But, I mean, obviously that didn't happen. But the fact that that's even a thing is a credit to Masai.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's known throughout the league for being that guy.
Being that dude, exactly. Which leads us to who my MVP pick is, and it's Kawhi Leonard.
Wow.
And here's the thing. Kawhi Leonard, I think, can win MVP, and it's based around the fact that last year the Toronto Raptors won 59 games without Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green. Now you add those two players, and if they're healthy with this offense, them fully buying into this offense, and the next wave of what this offense will be the splitting up of JV and Serge, right? But also the running of the offense through the five and having just, Kawhi will be able to get easy buckets, right? He's not going to be having to grind out one-on-one, ISO ball to get his buckets. There will be easy buckets made just from the style of offense. He shoots better threes in that DeMar DeRozan slot, and the bigger thing is he just has a name, right?
Yeah.
So now, if the Raptors winning 59 games and DeMar DeRozan doesn't have that name, he can't even get a sniff into the MVP talk, right? But now you add in Kawhi Leonard, And if Kawhi Leonard averaged DeMar DeRozan's numbers last year, which we know that Kawhi can average better than that, but if he does that and the Raptors win 60-plus games and are first in the East, Kawhi is going to get serious consideration for MVP, and in the storyline angle of it, I could see Kawhi winning MVP this year.
Oh, wow. I could see, if you're betting, I think that Kawhi probably has some really, really smart odds. I'm sure he's not in the top 5. You could probably get him at a good price. And that's really smart. I mean, you got to think, too, if you look at the East, again, no LeBron playing in this conference anymore. Look at a team like Boston. That's a good team, but they don't have one guy. I mean, they have a couple of guys. Yeah. You look at the Sixers, it's the same thing. Like, sure, maybe Embiid could have an insane year, but you figure if Embiid is having a good year, Simmons is having a good year too. And just like I said about Paul and Harden maybe splitting some votes, could happen in Philly. Let's hope that happens in Philly. But yeah, I mean, if the Raptors are a number 1 seed, the only thing is that I would say that kind of backs up my pick with LeBron is that team doesn't have as far to go. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Raptors, like you said, they won.
I know what you mean.
They won
59
without Kawhi. How much better can they be with Kawhi? But if he puts up crazy numbers and the defensive stats are there and they're number 1 seed, I could easily see it happening. That's an awesome pick.
And I'm just seeing people buying into narratives, right? And again, I'm not even saying Kawhi has to average like that crazy numbers. I'm saying that if Kawhi averages DeMar's numbers from last year because of the name, but adding in the storyline of, the Raptors going out on a limb to get Kawhi Leonard and Kawhi Leonard coming back off of an injury and now you add that mystique to a Raptors team winning 60 games, which they almost did last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did this year. Do you know what I mean? I'm saying you add in the storyline. What do we know about writers? Obviously, they love narratives. Yeah. They love storylines, right? So, yeah, my pick for MVP is Kawhi Leonard.
The only thing that can make this point moot is if Anthony Davis comes out and averages 32, 15, 5, and 6. It's like
true.
Or Giannis comes out and averages almost a triple-double. Like, that could make our narrative point a little moot. But I agree with you that those writers like to award the story. It's why Russell Westbrook won in averaging a triple-double the other year, right?
On blast.